Today on Business Success in Six with Stacie, I have Steve Nelson here from Wingman Gifts in Delafield, Wisconsin. Steve, thanks for jumping on with me.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for asking.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to talk about your super unique business that looks amazing, by the way. It looks like you have a lot of detail in there and a lot of things to talk about. So if you don't mind, I'd love to talk about your story, Wingman Gifts, and how you can help people.
Sure. Yeah, well, we are a men's retail store. We just celebrated 2 years in business. Um,
Congrats.
and we're kind of different from most men's stores. I kind of put it this way: you have clothing and shoes on one end of the spectrum and hardware and sporting goods on the other, and then there's the space in between with what I call daily use items. So we try to offer people really high quality daily use items, from your morning routine with grooming to reading a book to your kids at night, or reading for yourself at night, and a lot of things in between there. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Absolutely. So cool. What do you think your top sellers are there? I know that's not one of the questions, but I'm just
Oh,
curious what people are drawn to.
yeah, we didn't know this when we opened, but wallets and fingernail clippers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Believe it or not, yeah. And cologne. When we opened, I had a few select colognes that kind of came along with the shaving products, and people just started gobbling them up. They loved them. So, and they're unique because they're different from what's in department stores. They're based on shaving product formulas, which are different. They've been around a couple hundred years. So yeah, so we have some pretty unique different stuff here.
That is awesome. And it's always interesting to just to think about like what can we get for certain men? Like take out the bottle of whiskey or whatever, because they're gonna go get that anyways. Let's get something unique and special for that unique and special person in your life, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of different like underlying philosophies that I have. One is to offer things that kind of slow us down, again, because we're always going to have technology with us, right? But I think it's important to get back to some of those slower practices, to handwriting with a nice pen and a piece of stationery or a notebook, or reading a physical book and not just doing audible, when it's convenient. Or what we do here is, we don't do the shaving, but we sell traditional shaving products, so men can take their time grooming in the morning and take some pride in that process. And then the other thing is to offer items that have a legacy component too. So traditional timepieces. You're not going to pass down your smartwatch to your grandkids or your nephew or your own kids, but a traditional timepiece has a story connected to it, and that can last generations. Or a pen or a pocket knife, or different items like that. So slower practices and legacy items are kind of a big thing that we focus on too.
I love that you brought that up. That gave me goosebumps. I know I have my grandfather's knife, and it's something that I hold very near to me, and I'm like, okay, which one am I gonna, or which one of my three boys am I gonna give that to eventually? So those legacy gifts are absolutely incredible. Thank you for sharing that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and even getting a letter nowadays, like, who gets a handwritten letter? And if you do get one in the mail, wow, that's like, stop the presses. Like, that's a pretty special thing.
Yeah, and you save it, right? You
Yeah.
don't swipe and delete it. You save that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Very
I mean,
cool.
I remember in college, my mom would send me care packages. Now it's clicked on Amazon and you get it, the next day. But if you get a care package from your mom with, some treats in it and, little stuff, that's really a special kind of thing. So we even help people kind of put together little care packages for college too.
Oh my gosh, that is so great to know. As I'm thinking about my 20-year-old. Thank
There
you
you
for
go.
all of that. So, what were your plans when you started your business and how have they changed? You just celebrated 2 years. You were in video production for 25 years. Tell us about your story, why you decided to do this.
Well, the short version is, yeah, I was in video production for about 25 years. I got sick with, we didn't know it at the time, but it was Lyme disease. So I had to stop working for about 5 or 6 years. Unfortunately, that also led to some issues with my heart, and that triggered severe depression and anxiety. So we had to get that all worked out with a team and different approaches. And once I got better, things had changed so much in the video industry. And I started, long time ago. And I just thought, I've had this concept for this store for 10 years at that time. We're either going to keep talking about it and dreaming, or we're going to actually take steps to make it a reality. So my wife and I did our due diligence, and we prayed, and we decided, all right, let's give this a try. And here we are.
I love that story. I don't love that you've had to go through that experience, but some of those challenges that we face actually help us to grow and really think about the things that you want. And that's probably why you have some of those gifts to help slow people down and really think about, the time that they're spending. So
Yeah, exactly. Being present with each other. Some of the items that we have are things that connect people together too, so it's, life is more than social media and texting and, watching Netflix.
amen. I am right there with you. So, I mean, you kind of already answered this question a little bit. What is the biggest way you impact the community? I love what you're doing. Do you want to share a little bit more?
Yeah, I think how we impact our community, the community for us is pretty focused. I'll call it lake country. We do get people from Chicago, Milwaukee, Minnesota, but mostly lake country. And I think really what's special and what we're doing is just kind of weaving into people's lives with those special gift items. We've been part of weddings, getting a special, watch for the groom, groomsmen gifts, special occasions for like anniversaries, business celebrations. I had one gentleman come in, and he and his business partner were celebrating 25 years. So they both picked out a watch. And that was really special. But it's also, we're selling a Swiss Army knife to a kid getting his first knife, so that's a really special occasion to be a part of that. And then, the kids want to come back in. So I tell people we're a men's store for the whole family. So we have a wide range of things. We're kind of, we launched with the intention for men's gifts, but what we've discovered is it's really all about the whole family. And we really love that. I love having, kids come in. I love having generations come in and they have a shared experience. Usually in the men's retail world, it's mostly clothing and shoes, and it's not always the most enjoyable experience. If you're getting your first suit, it's just different, and you just kind of have to get through it. But we try to bring some joy into it. We engage in conversation. And back to the community part of it, we're just becoming a small destination for local customers and getting to know them, and becoming a part of their story too.
Absolutely. I love it. So what is one challenge that you have faced over the past couple of years that other business owners could learn from?
Really, the whole store is a comeback story. So my challenge began before we even opened the store, and getting to the point of, okay, we're going to do this. But even like on a daily basis, I know anxiety is kind of a buzzword. It's a popular topic in healthcare and mental health care. But, that doesn't go away even after, treatment and things like that. So for me, on a daily basis, sometimes that anxiety bubbles up. And what I do is I just, in the morning, okay, can you brush your teeth? Yep. Can you get showered and get dressed? Yep. Can you get in the car? Yep. So kind of boiling down things down into like micro level accomplishments, just on a personal level. I know you're kind of asking for the business side of things.
It's all intertwined, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got to show up, right, to make the business happen. So for me, sometimes the challenge is just that daily process. And honestly, it's going through that health journey has changed my perspective on things. I don't get rattled by a lot of things. So what might be a challenge for other people, I just kind of like, okay, we'll figure that out. And I think one of the challenges is also just to remain true to the vision and being principled and kind of going with your gut on things. Because there's a lot of people that they come in the store, it speaks to them, and then they offer advice, right? Or there's other businesses that come in and want me to buy their products or things like that because they want to be a fit for us. But it's sometimes it's a challenge to stay in your lane
Yeah.
and not try to get too far out of that and make it something that other people want it to be, to really stick with that vision. And I've learned to really celebrate going with your gut a lot of times, and that that innate intuition that we all have. I think it's really a powerful thing. So we don't, you don't please everybody, but we're not here to do that necessarily. We're here to, offer something that we have taken on to the community.
I want to comment on two things you just said. First of all, I was at a business conference in San Diego a couple of years ago, and they said some of the most successful people are people that say no to the majority of things. So, when you said staying true to yourself, like you don't have to be everybody or everything to everybody,
Right.
being so true. And then I also want to commend you for actually talking about anxiety and just, it's a real thing. And especially, truly, I think women accept it a little bit more than men. And it's really important as a mother of 3 boys. And I know you have a son, just sharing that male, female, whatever, people are going to struggle with certain things at certain times, and taking one step at a time is what successful people do. And sometimes that step is a hard step to take forward, right? Just those basic things, but talking about that, making people comfortable with that, and just knowing that when they go into your retail location, they're going to get that kind of support too, even if they're anxious about a gift or whatever that would be. So thank you for
Right.
sharing.
Well, and that principle actually transferred into how we got here, because I had zero retail experience other than being a customer. And a lot of people, were like, well, you can't do that because you don't have the experience. Retail's so hard. There's a lot of voices, chiming in on things. And all that was true. I didn't know what we were doing. And all I did was, I'm going to send an email to this company. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to look at spaces, and it's just one step at a time, one decision at a time. And we've had some very wonderful people supporting us through our vendors, taking a chance. Really, we have international products that have been around 160 years, some brands, and they
Wow.
took a chance on us because I didn't have any references. But
Sure.
we just laid it out. So really that same principle of my morning routine also transferred into, let's just one step at a time, and we'll get there.
So what does the future look like to Wingman, and do you have an exit plan?
My wife and I talked about this. We don't have an exit plan. Perhaps it will be a generational type of business. We're not sure. We are going to be starting an e-commerce part of the business, so that's kind of the
Awesome.
future. So we've had a lot of people. I get calls from people that have visited the store, and they love it so much, and they go back to the East or the West Coast, and they want stuff. So
Yeah.
we're gonna roll out slowly an e-commerce version of that, and then beyond that, I'd like to do some events, maybe some programming with the community, just to connect a little bit more, and perhaps some multiple locations, either in southeastern Wisconsin or maybe another state. I have people coming in saying, is this a national chain?
Cool.
Where's your other locations? And I'm like, you're standing in the only one. And then they, well, this would be great in this city or this city. So it's gotten us thinking that, yeah, we have something kind of different and kind of special here. And I think it would work in different places. So, but we have a ways to go before we get there.
Love it. I love the vision. So my final question for you today, Steve, all subjects open. What inspires you most?
You know, I my previous career was in video production and I love telling stories. And really what inspires me the most is hearing customer stories. Whether it's someone coming in from out of town and I won't see them again, or if it's the regulars that come through and we've gotten to know each other over these 2 years. I love being part of people's stories and I love hearing their stories. There's so much like negative chatter going on in our world and we're exposed to that. And people are just nice, and I love seeing when people come in to buy a thoughtful gift for someone. And, I've seen some people just really work hard at getting something special for, dad or grandpa or husband, boyfriend, whatever. And that I didn't expect that when we opened up the store that would impact me, but just to see how kind people are and creative they are. It's, we don't hear about that on the news or on social media so much, but it's happening, on a regular basis. And I love, kids coming in, connecting with them. We have a kids section, with
Oh,
toys and games and books. And people just like sharing their stories. And one thing special too is when people come in and they're on their way to Rogers Behavioral, which is in Oconomowoc, which they helped me out considerably.
awesome.
They'll share that, and then I'll raise my hand and I'll say, I went there too. I just had someone this weekend, a young person, and his eyes got big and he's like, you went there? I'm like, yeah, and then I just share briefly my story and I really encourage them. And I look at the parents because I know there's a story behind, before they got here that was difficult. And I just try to encourage them. We tell them, come on back and let's celebrate when you complete the program and we'll send you back home, with some cheers and,
Yeah.
some hugs or whatever. So what inspires me are the people that are coming in the store, and even a lot of the other business owners around here we've gotten to know too. They've just been so helpful and gracious to us. So
Steve, it's so inspiring. I'm so excited and feel honored to share your story, to share Wingman gifts. Now, if somebody wants to connect with you, to go on e-commerce as you roll that out, or to show up in the brick and mortar, what's the best way for them to find out more information?
sure. Wingmangifts.com is our website. That's actually going to be updating probably mid-October, towards the end of October. We got a new website coming. Social media, Instagram, Facebook. And obviously we'd love to have you walk in the store. That's kind of what makes it special, is connecting with people in person.
Love it. Thank you so much for your time today, Steve. Congratulations. Good luck. I know you're going to do great things.
Thank you. I sure appreciate it. And you guys are doing great stuff too. I've really enjoyed watching your videos and learning a lot too.
Oh, thank you so much. Take care.
You too.